Stermon, and I am a singer-songwriter and aspiring actor. I participated in a similar event to the Cays Conference in December of 2022, and it was in Burbank, California. It was actually one that opened my eyes to a lot. Sometimes being home in the Bahamas where the industry is not as big or as to what you would see or what you would experience abroad, it opened my eyes to the fact that there are so many people who are out there actually pursuing creative jobs in the creative industry. And one of the things that I also was able to get was a lot of insight, a lot of training, a lot of teaching, a lot of things that I actually am able to implement now in what I'm doing, and what I really feel is going to help me to become what I want to be in the creative industry. In total, including airfare, a hotel, and everything else that was needed, it came up to about $6,000 to about $6,500 in total. I decided to register for the Cays Conference because you have the opportunity, I have the opportunity to be exposed to international agents and scouts and persons who are able to give you an opportunity right here at home. Like I talked about, I had the experience of going abroad to a showcase where I had to pay a substantially greater amount than what I have to pay to actually come to the Cays Conference showcase. And so for me, it only makes sense. It only makes sense that you get the opportunity to showcase your talent and possibly have the opportunity to encounter somebody that can give you an opportunity that's going to change your life. And so it's a no-brainer for me. If it's here and it's home, why not? Think about $300 to $400 compared to $6,500. For me, it's a drop in the bucket. It's really a drop in the bucket. I think I consider it an investment. Everything that you do when it comes to creative industry and this sort of thing, when you go into showcases and you go into competitions, it's all about investing in yourself, investing in what can possibly be an opportunity. If it is that you're intending to make a living from this kind of thing, I think you have to be willing to spend on yourself and be willing to make the investment. So when you think about it, $300 to $400 is not bad at all in comparison to spending $6,500. To put on events like these, it costs the producer something. It costs the host something. It's not free. Imagine you're bringing international industry professionals here to your doorstep, and somebody has to foot the bill. And so even though you may see a cost, it's still a fraction of what it actually costs to actually put on this event. And so again, I always come back to the fact that it's an investment in yourself. If you were to go to any other kind of conference, any training, anything that's going to give you the opportunity, give you the tools that's going to help you get to the next step, it costs something. So with him being in the creative industry, it's no different. Something like the showcase is bringing the outside world home. And so when you consider the cost, don't think of it that, I'm just spending money and I don't see the value in it, but actually understand that there's a reason why it's going to cost all of this, because you're getting the best right here at home. The biggest thing was exposure. The reality of it is when it comes to this industry, exposure means a lot. One of the things that they talked about at the showcase is that you just never know what a connection can do for you. Today you meet somebody and 10 years down the road they could be working on a project or a film and they could be the producer, or they could be a casting agent. And they remember, hey, I met somebody years ago who I think would be perfect for this role. And so for me, when I went to the showcase, there were a lot of people that I met who were actually able to encourage me, because one of the things, it wasn't like it was a competition, it was more so like there kind of became like a family kind of feeling with being a part of the showcase that we were all nervous, we were all like scared because it's like we have to now go before people and be judged and all this sort of that sort of thing. But the reality of it was, at the end of the day, there were people who now connected. So I now have new connections and people that I've met who I now consider as friends, and who I now consider as people that I can call on. What they also talked about the fact that even when you're practicing and auditioning, people that you meet or make friends with, use them, let them be the ones that you run lines with, and you do all of this sort of stuff. Another thing that happened for me was I got 2 callbacks, and for me it was kind of like nerve-wracking and thinking, okay, you see the sheet, callback time is coming, like am I gonna be that person that gets no callbacks? But I was actually able to get callbacks, and so it said a lot because I prepared myself to actually go to the showcase, and in preparing myself I was able to see the results of it, and understanding that there were schools that were actually interested in me as a result of me being a part of the showcase. So the main thing is your network, that exposure, and also being able to get tips from people who are in the industry. I was able to meet with Blaze Johnson. I followed him on social media for a while, but I actually got to see him at the showcase, and he was able to give me specific tips that I needed that I could implement to help me in my music journey as being a Bahamian. And so there were also industry professionals, music industry executives, and they were able to give me information as to what they would suggest that I would do living in the Bahamas, because a lot of times you feel like, well, I'm here in the Bahamas and I can't do much, and there's so many limitations, and I don't have this, I don't have that. But they were actually able to give me tips and tricks as to what I can do being here. And so I think being a part of a showcase, it gives you access to something that you would not normally have access to. You have access to people you would normally have access to, and you meet people that you maybe may not normally meet, and these can be long-lasting relationships and friendships that grow, and you just never know what a connection will do for you.